This is my video for the Two Gun Action Challenge match, October 20th, 2018, held at the Pima Pistol Club. All the stages at this match were World War I themed, and there was a special World War I division for bolt-action rifles and other period firearms. I'm competing in Armored Division with all my modern equipment. This stage began with the shooter in the kneeling position. After the buzzer, the shooter could pick what position they wanted to use to engage these steel targets. Because of the humidity from rainfall, as soon as I dropped down prone, looking into the sun, my glasses fogged up immediately. That's why I missed these first few targets. I'm basically aiming at shadows through the fog of my glasses. This was a big time sink for me on this stage. I should have went with my gut instinct, which was to take these targets offhand. They were at a max range of about 150 yards, and they were full-size IPSC steel targets. After the first array, the shooter throws this grenade into the trench. If it makes it into the trench, they only have to hit the steel targets 2 times each from each position. If they miss, they must engage the steel targets 3 times each from each position. I'm using a KE-15 Commando short-barreled rifle with 11.5-inch barrel with Cobalt Kinetics linear compensator. The optic I'm using is the Riton 1:8 that I used in my previous match video. I will be using the same rifle at the Tiger Valley team match in November. After the shooter clears their rifle, they move forward with this deactivated bolt action with a bayonet on it. This hay bale must be bayoneted, then the shooter crawls through this window prop. At the blue barrels up here, the shooter will engage a number of pistol steel targets. They must change positions every shot. Note that I go to the middle between these 2 barrels so I can just lean back and forth to quickly engage the targets from both positions. I was 4th out of 12 in Armored Division on this stage and 14th out of 60 overall. This stage begins with the shooter lying down, engaging these pepper popper targets with pistol. They then ground the pistol, retrieve their rifle, load it, and engage 3 paper targets from this first area. Once these paper targets are engaged, they move to the final area and engage 2 steel targets. On 1 power, the reticle of this optic is very fine, so I'm holding a bit too high on this steel target, thus a few misses.
Oh, yeah.
I was 2nd out of 12 armored and 4th out of 60 shooters overall. We had some time to kill, so I shot this stage a second time for fun, handgun only, to see how easily I could make the hits with my pistol at 50 yards. Notice the movement technique for keeping the pistol downrange while I move out of the hallway. One for one on the steel at 50 yards with the red dot pistol. I think that's a good example of what a red dot equipped pistol can do in skilled hands. This stage begins with another grenade toss. If the grenade makes it into that conduit, the shooter does not have to engage the far steel targets on this stage. You'll notice the last plate on this rack is slow to go down, so I hesitate slightly before moving on to the rifle engagement area. After the first rifle target engagements, the shooter must move through this wire box, simulating crawling through a barbed wire tunnel. Because of the amount of crawling through tunnels and other props at this match, I deliberately chose to wear less gear than I would normally. I went with only the Faro Concepts Slickster plate carrier, rather than wearing a chest rig over it like I normally do.
Shooter, if you're done unloading, show clear.
I was 3rd armored out of 12 shooters and 10th overall out of 60 shooters. In the end, I was 3rd out of 12 in armored division and 8th out of 60 overall. The match started off pretty rough, but I think I made a decent recovery on the 2nd and 3rd stages I shot. I did better than I expected to do given the amount of crawling through props and obstacles at this match. Normally that sort of activity is where I lose a lot of time. This was a fun match. I enjoyed that the stages were mostly longer than we've had at Two Gun Action Challenge match in some time. Hopefully this trend continues with limited attendance at future matches, allowing for longer stages. Thank you for watching, and come back again for more match and multi-gun competition content.